Oh, this is fascinating. Robert Scheer, right? Who would have known? You know, he says, it's true. As filmmaker Michael Moore once warned us, the Carlyle Group is Big Brother. This is a private equity firm. Some call them pirate equity firms. You know, Mitt Romney has one, Bain Financial. This one was George Herbert Walker Bush's at one point in time. You know, he was the president or some big cheese right after he left the White House. The Carlyle Group. James Baker III was there, his Secretary of State. Actually, there's been some Democrats. Bill Clinton's chief of staff, Mac McLarty, and Arthur Levitt. And the guy, Arthur Levitt, was the guy that Clinton made the head of the SEC. He was on the Carlyle Group, too. Anyhow, turns out Carlyle Group owns Booz Hamilton Allen, which owns your phone calls and your emails and which websites you looked at yesterday and for how long, and which websites you looked at 5 years ago and for how long. Oh, really? You were? Seriously? Oh, it was just research. Okay, I understand. James Clapper, who is the guy in charge of intelligence in the Obama administration, used to be a senior executive over at Booz Allen Hamilton Carlyle. And the current vice chairman of Booz Allen, John McConnell, used to be the chief intelligence officer in the George W. Bush administration. Isn't there something sick about this? I mean, isn't there some point where you look at this and you say, okay, you know, we're paying taxes, and make no mistake about it, working class people, middle class people are paying way more as a share of their income in taxes than Mitt Romney or his ilk, you know, than the Limbaughs or the Romneys or the Rockefellers of the world or whatever. Our tax dollars are going into a black box. The NSA budget is a secret. Nobody knows what their budget is. But they've got over 1,000 different private for-profit corporations, over 10,000 locations, presumably hundreds of thousands of employees. Let's not even talk about the technology costs. They're building a city that's 3 times larger than the Pentagon, and the Pentagon is the size of a small city. And we have no say over it, and they're privatizing this stuff. And the people running intelligence in the Bush administration used to work for Carlyle Group, and the people who now work for Carlyle Group used to run intelligence in the Bush administration. Did I say Bush a minute ago? I meant Obama. And isn't this what Dwight Eisenhower warned us about? I mean, beware the military-industrial complex. And then after 9/11, it became the military-industrial, congressional, security, media, big business, transnational corporation complex. Isn't there a point at which Americans are going to say, you know, I just want back that government that George Washington had 3 horses shot out from underneath him for? Now, I realize Ronnie Reagan and all the Republicans ever since have said, you know, no, government's not the solution. Government's the problem. Government's a terrible thing. I disagree. I don't hate America the way that the Republicans and the conservatives and the libertarians do. I'm quite proud of this country. We got some stuff we got to work on. I mean, you know, unemployment in the minority communities is like 50% in some places, particularly youth unemployment. Women are making 70% of what men make for the exact same job. We have military bases all over the world in places where not only shouldn't we be, they frankly don't want us. We're dropping bombs on people who, you know, for no good reason I can figure out. So, you know, we've got a few problems. But that's kind of the cool thing about the form of government that Washington and his, you know, merry band of buddies in the early days and the subsequent generations have worked to not just create, as Washington did, but to improve, to enfranchise more and more and more Americans so that we can have a government, to paraphrase Abraham Lincoln, of the people, by the people, for the people. Not a government whose primary purpose is to serve as a siphoning device between taxpayers and the CEO of Booz Allen Hamilton division of Carlyle Group, who makes his, $3.5 million a year. I mean, isn't there some point at which we can say enough already? Isn't there some point at which Americans can say, it's crazy that we are handing off to private, for-profit corporations our tax dollars to do things that used to be done, and were done very well, by the way. We won World War II. And Dwight Eisenhower was not running around Europe with Halliburton. In fact, given how Halliburton was building facilities in Iraq that were electrocuting our soldiers, probably we wouldn't have won World War II if we'd been doing this. At what point are we going to say enough already? The functions of government are arguably sacred stuff. This is, democracy with a small d and a republic with a small r. Yes, we're not perfect. Yes, we've got a lot of work to do. But we're moving in many ways in the right direction. We've got a good man as a president. We've got well, don't get me started on Darrell Issa and the Republicans in the House of Representatives. But anyhow, there's still hope. But why are we giving trillions of dollars to for-profit corporations to just suck this stuff off the top and do things in ways that are completely unaccountable to the rest of us, for which we cannot, you're not even allowed to ask them? It's just wrong. 27 minutes past the hour.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
It was Michael Moore who back about a decade ago said the Carlyle Group is Big Brother. Guess what? He was right.